Hi, everyone. I'm Chris. This is our first episode of Conversations with Chris.
I'll be speaking with some of the best playmakers, experts, and minds in sports, designed to help student athletes like me do their best on and off the field.
To start it off, we have NFL legend, Hall of Famer, Ronnie Lott. So, Ronnie, thank you for being with me today. And obviously, if you're listening, you may know who Ronnie Lott is, 49ers legend, had a long career with them, helped them achieve 4 Super Bowls. He played alongside, other Hall of Famers, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, just some, notable teammates of his. So, Ronnie, thank you for being here with me.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to hearing your questions, and let's go at it.
All right. So for starters, obviously, like we know about what's going on recently in the NFL with the San Francisco 49ers reaching the NFC Championship once again for the first time in the last couple of years, or the second time in the last couple of years, and hopefully achieving a Super Bowl. So a lot of people, I guess you could say, are somewhat surprised to see them there. But what do you say? How do you feel about your old team, getting back at it?
Well, first of all, I think that when you look at, sports, the thing that's really interesting to me about sports is that, what's inside the DNA of each player and what's inside of the attitude and how hard they're working. And what I always find is really interesting to me is that a lot of times we don't necessarily, measure the heart of people. What we do is we watch and we sit there and we look, and then all of a sudden we go, wow, that guy's doing this and that guy's doing that. I just think that the Niners have a lot of people that have a lot of heart. Mm-hmm. And I think that component of heart and discipline and the want, you got to have the want.
Thank you for your insights on that. Especially, the power of want, goes just beyond the football field, into all aspects of life, really. So as long as, you have enough want for something and then you're willing to, push yourself to accomplish said goal, once again, truly anything can be possible. So what do you think about the future of this team? I mean, obviously there's a lot of young guys on this team, and the team has gotten to the NFC Championship with a lot of these young guys. So what do you see for the future here, with all this potential?
Yeah, that's a great question. Potential, right? Potential is around the idea of what people see in people, right? So all of a sudden you see these guys coming out of college, you see the potential of them, you see what they are about, and then you surround them with some guys that have the want, right? And what I think rubs off on guys like that is that they start to see, wow, you mean if I try like Joe, if I try like Boza, if I try like him, and if I wanted as much as him, or if you see other guys like Warner, or you see other people just exhibiting that want, and you see them off the field, off the field trying to figure out how to want more in life. And then what they do, what I love about guys is that then they try to find a way to want to help others. And then they try to find a way to want to be able to see how much impact they can make off the field.
So switching gears about the want of and the ability to, I guess, off the field as well. Now there's more of an opportunity for college athletes now, and in some cases high school athletes even, with these NIL deals. I just wanted to get your opinion on how do you think this opportunity, changes the way that high school athletes, think about college sports. Like, for example, basketball, we see some of these players decide to go to in the top high school recruits go to like the G League now, for instance, because they figure they can get paid to do it, and they can just devote themselves to basketball for that year or two, to prepare themselves for the NBA. But now college is opening up that opportunity. So how do you think that changes high school athletes' views of college?
Well, first of all, I think that, all of us have aspirations of doing certain things and our want in life, and the question is, will you find ways to do a lot of different things? Meaning, if you look back and you think that the want of life is to get an education, which a lot of young men will tell you, and their parents will tell you, hey, that wasn't that ingredient is phenomenal. When I talk to some of my friends that have been, great people, great, ambassadors to the game of wanting, a guy like Willie Lanier for me has always taught me about the idea of wanting to be educated, wanting to be smart, wanting to be prepared, wanting to understand how to make sure that you're doing all the things you can. So the want, is really valuable. Now there's a new ingredient, this idea of guys being able to get deals in high school and being able to get deals in college. And the question is, that want has to be managed properly. And if it's managed properly and it's managed in a way where you have the right boundaries around it and you surround yourself with the right people, that want of whatever you get can be maximized to make even more value. And so the question is not only understanding the want of it, but then to be able to maximize the value of it. And that's the same thing, the want of getting your education and maximizing the value of that.
Yeah, I feel, yeah, I also feel with the NIL deals, there's a lot of good and bad that can come with it, of it. Obviously we see, recently I saw something about the University of Iowa starting center Tyler Lindbaum, projected first round pick this year, great prospect. He had some massive NIL deal, and he donated like most of his earnings to charity. And you see a lot of stuff like that. That type of stuff makes the headlines, but then there's also the bad that can make the headlines. So there's, you kind of, like you were saying, it's a matter of not only having the want, but then, being able to, like, I guess, into all aspects of life, like using that wisely.
Yeah. You said that's wisely is a great way of describing how we think about all the things that we can get in our life. I'm always amazed at what would I do if they did give me everything I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Bigger question is, I still have a debt to pay. In my head, my debt was to make sure that when SC provided me a scholarship,
Mm-hmm.
that I have to now get a great education. I have to graduate. I have to earn that. And the reason that I felt that way is that that's how my dad has taught me to think about, things that somebody gives you. Now you have to go out and make sure that you are understanding that it's very important that you do your best, and not only do your best, but that you want them to know that hey, I earned this. And so I think that for a lot of people, we're always trying to find ways to earn things. And I think a lot of kids with this NIL, they're going to earn it.
Yeah.
They're going to earn it. Some people are going to give it to them, but they're going to earn it in more ways than one. And the question will be, how did you use it?
Mm-hmm.
Did you use your want the right way?
Right.
And that to me is something that can be very powerful when you use it the right way. Hey, the want of Martin Luther King used it the right way. The
Mm-hmm.
want of your grandfather used it the right way. And so my point to you is that those kind of exhibits of how people can also want something and make it better for, millions of people. And that is, that is even more extraordinary because you're impacting more people.
Yeah, a lot of it. a lot of this, theme of like impact is something I guess overlooked, and something that could be, especially for these young kids. I don't know if I'm saying young kids, even though I'm only 16, but these like, young college athletes are have so much, with the presence of social media now and like building your own brand, how much impact they can have, and just so much like influence they can have on just anyone who's, paying any attention to them. So I just, on that theme of brand, I wanted to ask you, do you think whether or not for high school athletes, as a high school athlete myself, do you think whether or not a high school athlete has like their own brand will affect the way that colleges look at them now, with this ability to build your own brand while you're in college?
Well, first of all, everything you do, for the most part, people are watching you, right? And the reason I think people watch you is that there's an expectation of how people are not only measuring you in your respective sport, but they're measuring you in terms of how you handle yourself. What do you do? What are the things that you care about?
You obviously had to have some great leadership qualities in order to help contribute to your team's success on that level. So maybe you could speak a little more to that, about what it was like playing with, those guys. Like, what was, just something little about your experiences. Obviously coming away with a couple of rings, how was that?
Yeah, what's great about is understanding the want, and understanding why the want is so important. And what I think is really interesting to me is that I remember watching Jerry Rice. And Jerry Rice, when he first came to our team, before he would go out of bounds, he would cha-cha, so he could make sure that he would always get 2 feet in. And he would do it all over the field, where it didn't matter wherever he went. He would just do the cha-cha. And he did that pretty much his whole career, that he would just tap, tap, tap. And he called it the rat-a-tat-tat. And he would just, but the discipline, he played 20 something years.
Yeah.
And every time he would do that. And my point to you is that what I think is amazing is not only the courage, but the will to say, my want is I'm never going to not do that.
Mm-hmm.
And perfection comes from doing it over and over and again. And my point is that what I loved about that aspect of Jerry was pretty much how he lived his life.
Yeah. Well, thank you for that. Thank you for enlightening me, all the viewers, on this about want and the value of that, and just how and sharing that want with other people, where is just really it's priceless, honestly. And thank you for sharing your experiences. Obviously hearing experiences from an all-time NFL legend is just a once in a lifetime opportunity, and I'm eternally grateful for you for joining me. So I'd like to say thank you to NFL legend, San Francisco 49er legend, Ronnie Lott. Thank you for joining me on this first episode of Conversations with Chris, and good luck to your team this weekend in the NFC Championship.
They better bring a lot of want.
Yeah, really. It's going to be a great matchup this weekend. Everyone go tune into that, because definitely exciting playoff weekend that we just witnessed, and definitely more to come. So yeah, good luck to the San Francisco 49ers this week against the Rams. And once again, thank you, Ronnie, for joining me.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Continued success, man.
Thank you.